There was a time when society was divided in the name of religion and science. Today, even though science has advanced, in those days, people were more inclined to trust religion. Science does not claim that every aspect of religion is superstition, as there have been scientists who considered science to be akin to God and pursued their work accordingly, indifferent to the fact that science does not allow hearsay. Johannes Kepler was such a person. He worked like a scientist but considered himself deeply religious because he felt that when he looked at the sky, it seemed as if he was trying to understand God's craftsmanship. On one hand, he spoke of religion, but on the other, he went against the Bible by promoting Copernicus's heliocentrism. This made people question which side he was truly on. Johannes Kepler was a man whose feet were firmly on the ground, but whose mind was always reaching for the skies. At a time when people were engrossed in superstitions and magic, he was busy measuring the movements of planets. However, if you were to ask him for his self-assessment, he would always describe himself as religious. He firmly believed that there was no doubt God had created the universe. But, see how God decorated it, as if a mathematician were arranging a complex equation. So, is God a mathematician? Kepler would say, I don't know, but he has set the planets in motion in such a way that they fit perfectly into mathematical formulas. Kepler had been introduced to astronomy as a child, and this interest blossomed into a lifelong passion. When he was a child, his mother took him to a high place to show him a shooting star. Later, he learned it was actually a meteor, as stars never really fall. He also had the chance to witness a lunar eclipse where the moon turned completely red. While studying at university, he learned from his professor about Copernicus's view of the cosmos, as at that time, the whole world believed that Earth was the center of the universe and everything else revolved around it. But Copernicus, the great polymath who promoted the heliocentric theory, claimed that the sun was the real boss around which we, and everything else, revolved. Kepler was shocked by this because the theory directly contradicted the Bible, but he was also pleased because the theory made understanding the universe much simpler, no need for unnecessary complications about Earth's movements. Kepler wrote his first book, Mysterium Cosmographicum, where he wholeheartedly praised Copernicus's theory. The truth is, Kepler was a man caught in the conflict between religion and science. He believed that God created the universe and that it was designed in such a way that specific mathematical rules applied to it. However, the religious authorities of the time could not grasp this concept. Kepler's mother was a healer, but people considered her a witch, leading Kepler to spend much time defending her. Perhaps enduring the tension between religion and science every day drove him to the brink of madness, so he turned to music, but not the kind involving guitars and drums. Instead, it was the music of the planet's orbits. Kepler was a boy from a small village who was obsessed with stars and planets. On the other hand, Tycho Brahe was a renowned astronomer of his time who was equally passionate about the stars and planets. He spent 30 years making accurate astronomical observations, gathering data on the positions and movements of planets. However, he was searching for a genius to interpret this data, and that's when he met Kepler. But Tycho believed in the geocentric model, while Kepler supported the heliocentric model. Initially, Tycho did not allow Kepler to participate in his work, and their habit of not sharing information led to many conflicts between them. Despite this, their mutual understanding was remarkable. They eventually collaborated, and Tycho gave Kepler the opportunity to work on Mars' orbit, where Kepler discovered that Mars' orbit was not perfectly circular. Musica Universalis, or the music of the spheres, is an ancient philosophical theory. Imagine the planets playing in a band. What if Mars is the drummer, Venus is playing the guitar, and Earth is singing? As they move in their orbits, they create a grand cosmic symphony. Kepler, along with Pythagoras and Aristotle, was one of those listeners who believed that the sun, moon, and planets were producing a kind of music through their motion, determined by their speed and distance. After Tycho's death, Kepler gained full access to his data. With its help, Kepler made significant improvements to the Copernican model. For instance, Copernicus believed that planetary orbits were circular, but this did not align with Kepler's observational data. Using Tycho's data, Kepler demonstrated that planets move in elliptical orbits. Copernicus's model assumed a uniform speed for the planets, but Kepler showed that when planets come closer to the Sun, they move faster, and when they move away, they slow down. Kepler was once again caught in a dilemma because the planet's behavior didn't align with his religious beliefs.